Hi friends, kamusta? So welcome back. For today's video, I will answer the most frequently asked question that I receive if studying here in Canada is difficult. Also, I will give you tips and some of my experiences when I was still an international student on how I balance my studies while working. I also recommend watching till the end of the video as I share how I worked for two companies even if I was still an international student with work hours conditions. By the way, if you don't know me, my name is Jason Jim and I am making videos about international students, workers, or even residents here in Canada. So don't forget to click the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I also suggest to hit the notification bell so that you will be updated every time that I post a video. Are you ready? Let's begin. Okay, so for the first tip that you need to know if you are studying while working here in Canada is choosing your class schedule. So before the class begins, you will choose your preferred schedules of your classes. Whether it's an online class or either a group class or in a classroom setup, you will be the one to make your own schedule. So of course, your schedule will depend on your program, the number of sections in that semester, and also the schedule of your subjects or course. So what I suggest, choose a schedule that fits like for 3 to 4 days in a week. Maybe like from Monday to Thursday. And the rest of the days will be your time for your work or your part-time job. But of course, it will still depend on the company and industry that you want to work with. For example, if you are working in an office, of course, it will be from Monday to Friday and it's gonna be like 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. But if you will be working in service industry, the busiest days will be on weekends. So in that case, you can focus studying for Monday to Thursday or like for 3 to 4 days, and the rest of the day you can just go with your part-time job. The second tip is about knowing your scheduled breaks. In Canada, there are semester breaks and there are also scheduled breaks. For example, winter and summer holidays and also fall or spring reading week. So knowing these breaks, it is actually an opportunity for you to work full time. So if you know these dates, you can also inform your employer that they can give you more hours and they can even give you full-time hours with these scheduled breaks. By the way, I made a video about working hours of international students here in Canada. I suggest watching that video so that you will know how many hours can you work, and also I gave a study and work permit conditions. Okay, so for the third tip is achieve the highest grade as early as possible. So here in Canada, there are also prelims, midterms, and finals. You are the ones who make your own grades. So you will see it in the student portal. So it will be transparent. It will be shown there whatever your grade is. So you can also see the status of your quizzes, tests, examinations, presentations, projects, researches, attendance, and etc. So your instructor will provide all of your scores and grades in the student portal. You can access it and you will know what is your current standing. That is the reason why I have mentioned as early as prelims and midterms, aim for higher grades so that if finals come, you don't need to cram yourself, you don't need to like really study hard for you to get or for you to pass the subject or course. For example, in my case, I set goals in my studies. I don't have an option to fail the subject. My only options are having a high grades or pass the subject. I was not actually a grade conscious because I know that I was working and also I was studying. So for me, the only option is to pass all of my subjects. Okay, so for the fourth tip is finish your schoolwork as soon as possible. So if you have any schoolwork that you need to do it and finish it as early as possible. As I have mentioned, maybe you will be going to school or study for like 3 to 4 days. And then as much as you can, finish all of your schoolwork with those days. And then for the other days, that is the time that you will be working in your job. So you don't need to cram yourself in making any of your assignments. You won't be thinking of any submissions that you need to do or even study for the test. So that doing those important things, that will help you manage your time, because studying and working is a matter of time management and also balancing your life. Remove in your system the mañana habit, or do not procrastinate something, especially with regard to your school stuff. Alright, so for the fifth tip is make a Canadian resume and cover letter. Okay, so since you are starting to look for a job, make sure that you are handing over or even sending out resumes with a Canadian format. And if it's possible, also include a cover letter. And in this video, I won't be discussing about these two documents, like how to do it, how to make one, but make sure to check on the description box, because I will link there how to make a resume in a Canadian format and also a cover letter. And just to add, if you are planning to go here in Canada, you should know how to make these documents, because it is so important whenever you look for a job. And I suggest prepare even a draft, even if you are still in your home country, so that once you arrive here in Canada, you are prepared and you can just edit a little bit with regard to your resume and also your cover letter. Okay, so the next one is don't be choosy at work. So I received a lot of messages from aspiring international students and asking if there are jobs here in Canada. And my answer is actually yes. But of course, it will depend on the industry that you are looking for. Since you are going here in Canada as a student and you will start working as well, you might experience that you will be working in an entry level or even from scratch. So if you had a good position in your home country and you are thinking to apply on the same position in the companies that you are looking for, you will be lucky if you will be able to get that opportunity. But most of the times, Canadian employers are basing on a Canadian work experience as well. So since you don't have Canadian experience, you may expect or might possibly be back to the lowest level. So what I suggest, ready yourself in any kind of situation and also change your mindset if you are going here in Canada. And that's the reason why if you were choosing, you can find a job here. And if you don't have a job, you can support yourself and even for the long run. Okay, so let us now go to the seventh tip. So since you are studying here in Canada, you know your path, you know your career that you want to go, you need to choose a job related to your program. So of course, that is the reason why you are here in Canada and studying, because you want to pursue the career or the program that you are taking. And as much as possible, finding a job related to your program is the best way to gain Canadian work experience. And that Canadian experience, you will use it in your permanent residency application. So here in Canada, even if you start in the lowest level or even an entry level, just grab the opportunity, because the time you started in your company, that is the time that you put or give your loyalty, and you need to showcase your responsibility and also your hard work. And it might give you a positive result in the future, because you might be promoted, or after you study or after the graduation, they might offer you a full-time job that you will be using in your permanent residency application. Like in my case, I took Bachelor of Science in Nursing in the Philippines, and I studied Global Business Management and Global Hospitality Management here in Canada. And I remember that my first job here in Canada was a personal support worker or the caregiver. I worked as PSW maybe like for 2 months, and because I had a nursing background, this helped me to get this job. And I thought of like, that is not related to the program that I was taking at that time. So what I did was I shifted and looked for a food service industry or even the hospitality industry. And luckily, I worked for 2 companies. Yes, it is possible that even if I was still an international student, I worked for 2 jobs or 2 companies, and I will share it and tell you more about it in a bit. By the way, my bachelor's degree in the Philippines is different from the programs that I took here in Canada. And I made a video about successful letter of explanation, or what you call the study letter, and I shared 7 different samples of LOEs from different industries. So check it out, and I really hope that it helps you for your reference. So in relation in choosing a job related to your program, the next is focus on your permanent residency through your Canadian work experience. So as I have mentioned, find a job related to your program, because if you are working in the related industry of your program, it is an easier way to get a Canadian work experience. And that Canadian work experience, you will use that for your application of your permanent residency. So remember, as you show your loyalty and hard work to your company or employer, there is a higher chance for you to be promoted. So focus on the eligibility, how to get a permanent residency rather than getting a job which you can earn more money, but it is not related to your program, or you won't get a Canadian experience that will be eligible for you to apply for your PR. And if you want to know more about how to be eligible if you will be applying for express entry through Canadian Experience class, watch this video as I have shared how to get a high comprehensive ranking system, or the CRS points. Okay, so for the 9th tip, maximize your work hours if possible. So as you know, as an international student, we are allowed to work for 20 hours per week. And in that case, you need to inform your employer that as much as possible, if they can give you those hours, that would be better. But don't expect that once you're hired, they will be giving you the full 20 hours per week, because not all companies are giving that hours to the international students. By the way, I also made a video about major expenses of an international student, and it also indicates if you can earn through part-time job and pay for your tuition fee. So I hope it helps and inspires you on that video. Going back, what I did to maximize my work hours, I applied and worked for 2 companies. Yes, as I have mentioned, it is possible for you to work for 2 companies. So the 2 companies that I worked before were in a food and service industry and also in a hotel. So here in Canada, before they hire you, they will be asking you your availability. And that's the time that I gave my specific hours and days to those 2 companies that I can work. And that's the reason why that each company gave me 10 hours in 1 week. And in that case, I also maximized the 20 hours per week, even if I am an international student and having a work condition. Okay, so as I have mentioned earlier in my video, the next tip, or I can say the question that I usually hear and receive is it hard to study in Canada? So with this question, my answer is yes. My answer is no. Or I can just say it depends. It depends on the program. Not all programs are difficult or easy, because I know someone, or I know people who also failed their subjects. Like for example, even in my program or engineering or nursing, there are people that I know who also failed. So it really depends on the program that you are applying. And also, maybe the reason why it is hard to study here in Canada is because it depends on how you give time and effort in studying. As you know, if you come here to Canada, you are in a study permit. So it means to say that you need to know your responsibility as a student. You need to focus on your studies and not your job. So your first priority will be your studies, and the second will be your part-time jobs. By the way, if you want to know more about Canada study permit, like for example, the cost, requirements, types of applications, affordable colleges, visit and check the playlist Canada Study Permit so that you will know more about this pathway. So going back, if it's hard to study here in Canada, as I have mentioned, you make your own grades. So whatever grades that you will have and the grades and scores that will be put in your student portal, those are the results of what you have planted. So what I suggest, just study hard and focus as well in your studies. Because if you fail, you need to retake your subject or course. It's not just about retaking the subject, but you need again to pay for that tuition fee of that specific subject that you failed. And worse, if that subject has a prerequisite in the next term or in the next semester, you might not able to get all of the subjects or all of the courses for your next semester. So what I suggest is that you really need to study hard and do your best once you decided to be an international student here in Canada. So those are the tips and my experiences as an international student in studying while working. And I really hope that this helps you change your mindset and gear up your game if you plan to go here in Canada as an international student. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to give a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so that you will be updated every time that I post a video. If you have any question, concern, or topic that you want me to discuss, just leave a comment down below. Thanks again. My name is Jason Jim. See you to my next video. Bye!